Namaste. It is I, Guido the Guru, here to help you channel your negative emotions and allow you to lead a peaceful life. Yeah, right! Hello everyone, welcome to The Guido Goes Off. I'm getting right into this because some exciting news. Pro Wrestling Illustrated released today the PWI 500. For those of you not familiar with it, the editors of Pro Wrestling Illustrated rank the top 500 wrestlers around the world. They it's based off of a certain grading period, which I believe is I think it starts and ends in July 15th. I could be wrong. You can always pick up the physical copy or the digital copy when it's released later on this year. I think it's a couple months. And but yeah, and of course they have grading criteria. I believe I mentioned these on the PWI when I talked about the PWI Female 50. Believe it or not, wins and losses matter. Marketability matters. Strength of opponents. Notable titles held. All these go into the mix. Now, I don't have a lot of time, so I'm not. I do have the list. More than likely, I'll put it out on a picture of it on my Twitter. The list that was released. Now, it lists them alphabetically, so you'll have to find your favorite wrestler to see where they ranked. I am going to cover the top 10. Starting off, in number 10, there's a tie for 10th on the PWI 500 between John Cena and Drew Galloway. Now, Cena was, I think, U.S. champion for at least a few months in this before losing it to Del Rio, and so that's so that's probably why he's so high up. And plus, of course, marketability. He's everywhere. He's on the Today Show. He's on Good Morning America. He's doing Make-A-Wish. He is everywhere. So that's why he ranks so high this year. By that same token, Drew Galloway, for a good solid portion of the grading period, was the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Making strides in that area. So it makes sense there. Also winning the Feast or Fire. And so basically, that's why he's on the list. And the sad thing is, he is the highest ranking member of TNA's roster on this list. Number 9, Dean Ambrose. Interesting how he ranks so high, given the fact that he held no titles, and this is his win of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship was after was I think either at the tail end of the grading period or right after. Was it the tail end of the grading period or right after? So it might count his winning the WWE World Championship, but as you can see, it does not count for a whole heck of a lot. So that's why he's in the top 10, but he ranks pretty low. Number 8, Seth Rollins. I'm sure he would have been a lot higher had he not been injured in November. So this is actually, I'm going to say this is, now like I said, I think the beginning of the grading period's in July. So he was WWE World Heavyweight Champion for a substantial amount of time during this. However, what hurt him was getting hurt. Injured for 6 months. Then, from November to May, we didn't have Seth Rollins wrestling at all. So that hurts you, because activity is one of the points. I mean, wins and losses count, but also whether or not you're active, and that's what put him down at number 8. I think he was dangerously close to being out of the top 10. Number 7, Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, for about half of the grading period, he was still in New Japan. Also holding on to the IWGP Intercontinental title, the belt that he made like huge for the promotion. Also in that grading period, his debut in NXT at NXT TakeOver Dallas, and pretty much just making that impact and just running all over. That is what keeps him on. That's what has him so high up on this list. More than likely, it could have been higher because there's, I think, at least a month or so where he was, there's at least a good solid month where he wasn't active. So I think that hurt him. But still, you're talking main event player in New Japan, and then main event level in NXT. I'm sure it says when it's going to say career highlights at that point. His match at Wrestle Kingdom 10 with AJ Styles is going to be right up there. Number 6, Kevin Owens. Now, I think this has a lot to do with his activity, his win-loss record. He was doing pretty well. Not to mention he was Intercontinental Champion for a time during the grading period. If I'm not, I'm still not sure exactly on the grading period, but his being NXT Champion might have been at the start of it. He did lose the title on July 4th to Finn Balor. But also, that could play a factor into why he's so high up on the list. Number 5, Jay Lethal. Pretty much for the entire grading period, Jay Lethal was the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, keeping a death grip on that title. He faced everybody. And you talk basically about the face of one of the major promotions here in the United States. So, amongst all these people they have listed, he was probably the most consistent as champion and consistently having great matches. Pretty much the only knock on Lethal is his strength of competition. Remember, he's in Ring of Honor. So he was in Ring of Honor, also a bit in New Japan. At Wrestle Kingdom 10, he defended against Michael Elgin. So you have a great body of work there. But again, it's not WWE, it's not TNA. So I think those are the only knocks against him. But he did crack the top 5, and good for him. Number 4, AJ Styles. As we all know, during the grading period, AJ Styles, I believe, did have another IWGP World Championship reign. He did lose it he did trade it back and forth with Kozuka Okada, and he had that phenomenal. Of course, he's phenomenal AJ Styles. Did have that great match with Nakamura at Wrestle Kingdom 10. Also, shortly after the Royal Rumble, he debuted and has had great matches since. It could be a little bit win-loss record due to his losses to Nakamura and his loss, and I think one of his losses was lost to Chris Jericho at Mania, and his loss to John Cena, I believe, earlier this summer. But holding the New Japan title, which is carrying a lot more weight, I can see from this list, than it used to. But also, the debuting and being successful and marketable on WWE. Number 3, Finn Balor. For pretty much I did say that Lethal was a very consistent champion, Balor has been a consistent champion, but at just that much more of a level because he was the NXT champion for pretty much all the grading period. He, winning the title, depending upon when this starts, I think it starts in July, so, from July 4th until, I think, September. No, wait. July 4th. July 4th. Until, for the most, I think it was June. When was the end? Was that in June? Was it June? Early July? Late June or early July? But for pretty much the majority of the grading period, Finn Balor was NXT champion. What puts him above Lethal is, of course, the strength of the promotion and the strength of competition. NXT has become highly competitive these days. It's more based off of, you got all these guys coming in from all over the world. You got Nakamura, you got Samoa Joe, you've got now Bobby Roode and Austin Aries, and now Eric Young's been signed. So NXT has grown as far as how it ranks in professional wrestling. It's easy to say that it is the number 2 promotion, more than likely, in the United States. So that's why Finn Balor is number 3. Number 2, Kozuka Okada, the Rainmaker. Pretty much his death grip on the IWGP World Championship. He got it back from AJ Styles at one point during this year. Was traded back and forth. He defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom 10, and then he's been kind of trading it back and forth with Tetsuya Naito. So you're talking some pretty stiff competition as far as what he's facing, and he's pretty much the face of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I know it's rumored he is definitely one of the acquisitions WWE is looking to get. So, he is wildly popular, wildly recognized, and wildly marketable. So, so that's why Okada is number 2 on this list. And now we get to number 1, Roman Reigns. I know a lot of people aren't going to be happy with the fact that Reigns is number 1 on this list, mostly because people have not liked him due to the fact that Vince has been pushing to the moon that because he likes him, he's only popular with certain fan bases. It comes down to the criteria. That is why he is number 1. In that 1-year period has been all 3 of Roman Reigns' world title reigns. Not to mention, for most of the calendar year, or for most of that calendar, other than Seth Rollins, Sheamus, and Triple H, Roman Reigns has been the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He was suspended right at the tail end of the right about at the tail end of the grading period, so that doesn't affect him. It's like I said, he has faced the top level competition in the top promotion of professional wrestling worldwide. So that's, as much as I would love to argue with this point, the criteria pretty much assures it. That's why Roman Reigns is number 1. I kind of dealt with this point when Nikki Bella was named number 1 on the PWI Female 50. Again, that was due to the criteria. You may not like these people, but if you go by what PWI looks for, they make sense. They're no-brainers, actually. It's sad to say that, but that is how this works. Now, again, that was the top 10 of the PWI 500. Not sure exactly when this issue is going to come out. I believe digital copy is going to be available here fairly soon. And I'm going to go ahead and post on my Twitter at r_man_Guido. I'll write it down for you later. I'm going to go ahead and post this picture that I have of the list, which is the wrestlers in alphabet. Oh, forgot. Timmy Lou Retton, number 500 this year. Yeah, I never heard of him either, but when you get down to like past the first 300, it's kind of. But anyway, so that's your top 10 and number 500 this year. So, I'm going to do that for you guys because I like you, and yeah. Well, that was a pretty long episode, so I think I'm going to cut it off here for today. So, how do you feel about the top 10? How do you feel about Reigns being number 1? What about where your favorite wrestler ranks? Don't forget to hit me up in the comment section below or on my poorly drawn Twitter and Instagram at r_man_Guido. Don't forget, I'm going to post a picture alphabetically of the PWI 500 so you can check where your favorite wrestler ranks. Until next time, I am the Guido, and I think we're done here.